Hello and welcome to this special edition of the news package that comes with the extra touch. It is the last for the year 2020, and I promise you it is a package you won't forget in a hurry, even if you want to forget the year 2020 with its challenges. First, there is good news that security in the northeast and other troubled areas in the country will improve significantly in 2021. And on the economy, the Nigerian stock exchange adjudged best performing in the world. Wow, wait for it. In the reports, we bring you sectoral reviews of the year 2020 and prospects for 2021. There are human angle stories that bring out the humanity in Nigerians and their love for unity and development. Of course, we won't let the mean registration exercise be till it is done and dusted. Tonight, we have some updates for you. For those traveling to the east, if your trip must take you through Abuja State, you need to watch this bulletin. To be forewarned is to be forearmed. Well, all these and more are here to usher in the year 2021. But let me allow you to judge for yourself. After all, the taste of the pudding is in the eating. I am Fatima Umabuba, and this is News Extra. You're welcome. The security situation in the northeast and indeed other parts of the country will not be same in the year 2021. Governor Babagana Umar Zulum of Borno dropped the cheery news while speaking to newsmen after an audience with President Muhammadu Buhari. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the meeting also discussed prevailing challenges of security as well as planned repatriation of Nigerians taking refuge in neighboring countries.
Governor Zulum's Borno State is without doubt the worst hit by terrorism and insurgency bedeviled in Nigeria for over a decade. Apart from severe devastation to human lives and livelihoods, over 20,000 people were killed, nearly 2.3 million others displaced, and billions of naira worth of personal and public assets destroyed. Borno was virtually under siege as several council areas were effectively under the control of the criminal elements. With the far-reaching measures adopted by the Buhari presidency on coming to power, the security situation has significantly improved as lost territories were recaptured and Boko Haram technically defeated. However, the terror group is still wreaking havoc, especially on soft targets, as demonstrated in the recent killing of rice farmers at Zabarmari community of Borno State. That incident and others in parts of the country are getting Nigerians worried, and this dominated discussions between President Muhammadu Buhari and the Borno State Governor Babagana Umar Zulum. After their closed-door engagement attended by Defense Minister Bashir Magashi, Governor Zulum told newsmen unequivocally that hope is bright for an end to the prevailing challenges of security in the country.
The President has assured Nigerians, has assured people of Borno State that we shall see improvement in the year 2021, and I'm optimistic that we shall see it. Government at the subnational level will also exploit all potentials to strengthen the resilience of the communities, in addition to what the Nigerian army is doing. The President is up to the task to ensure that there will be major changes in terms of security situation in the entire nation in the year 2021.
Governor Zulum also discussed with the President issues relating to the repatriation of Nigerians living in the neighboring Chad, Niger, and Cameroon.
They have stayed for a long time. They want to come back home. There is an ongoing agitation by them, and I think government has to listen to them. And President has given me the assurances that he will support this very important initiative in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs in ensuring the repatriation within the shortest possible time.
Borno State government, he said, is prepared to work hand in hand with the federal government in support of the planned repatriation exercise. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari is tasking the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, to collaborate more effectively with critical stakeholders towards ensuring that its technological inventions are not only mass-produced but deployed and utilized for enhanced national growth and development. This was when he granted audience to the Executive Vice Chairman of the agency, Professor Mohammed Sani Haruna. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu has the details.
The Executive Vice Chairman of NASENI, Professor Mohammed Sani Haruna, was in the State House to brief President Muhammadu Buhari on the giant strides recorded by the agency in the production of parts, goods and services required for Nigeria's technological advancement.
There are certain technologies developed by NASENI that are ceded to private sector for mass production. For example, when there is scarcity of smart prepaid meter, NASENI developed Nigerian version, unique, and many companies went through the bidding process. The winner is in the process of setting up a manufacturing plant for mass production. Also, NASENI's own version of Keke Nafe, what we call Keke NASENI, the cargo version, has been ceded for mass production to Innosom Motors. NASENI has intervened in many areas, especially renewable energy. We are producing solar modules, that is solar panel in Karshi, as a result of research and developmental activities.
Through its National Tractor Recovery Program, for instance, NASENI, Professor Sani Haruna explained, is also involved in what he called the refurbishment, rehabilitation and redeployment of broken down agricultural implements back to the farms for enhanced agricultural production.
The President is very impressed and happy with the achievements so far. He urges us to do more, such that the technologies that are yet to be deployed for the benefits of Nigerians can be done, and also promise to look at all our hindrances for optimal performance. The National Tractor Recovery Program is only a pilot scheme we commence from Niger State. He wants us to expand to other areas because that can boost agricultural products.
With President Muhammadu Buhari as chairman of NASENI board, the executive vice chairman is certain that the agency can only do much more for the desired prosperity of the country.
We are going further into electric vehicle, aircraft and the rest of it. But most importantly, what NASENI is doing is now impacting on the lives of the common man. There are so many products of NASENI in our schools, in our farms, in our homes for processing of food and crops to make it easier, providing electricity for communities that have never experienced electricity before. For it to be 100% made in Nigeria is a thing of joy and of pride.
The governing board meeting of NASENI is soon to be hosted by the president, during which major decisions will be taken towards charting the best way forward for the agency. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
The Nigerian economy is sustainably progressing at a steady recovery pace and gradually surmounting the pressure mounted by the unavoidable recession occasioned by the novel coronavirus pandemic in year 2020. Guests on NTA Tuesday Live say, despite continued domestic challenges and dwindling resources experienced, federal government policies and programs are yielding desired results in revamping critical sectors. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports.
2020, an unforgettable year of unusual happenings that dissipated factors that changed the face of global economy, politics, and humanity, occasioned by the COVID-19 lockdown. In Nigeria, the fiscal year was affected by impact of the global pandemic and later exacerbated by NSAS protests that caused a major drawback in the implementation of 2020 budget.
The situation we have at hand may not have allowed it to be able to get what it wants to get. But our prayer is that as we move ahead, God will help us to be able to make sure that things work better.
With COVID or no COVID, the government has not slowed down in ensuring meeting their responsibility in ensuring that we get the rail delivered.
Guests say the strategic framework adopted by federal government in the areas of infrastructure, power, transportation, health, commerce, including oil and gas sector, yielded appreciable results.
But having said that, there are robust macroeconomic responses, both fiscal and monetary, and the authorities have not rested. They have tackled the situation head on, and that's why we have hope in the future.
The government does not need to blow its trumpets. The government is doing what it's supposed to do. So the government does not come to say, look, we have dismayed so number of terrorists, we've done this. There are certain operations that are covered. The citizens will just see free passage. Things are done in a normal way because some of the security agencies have done their work when they're supposed to do it.
As the nation battles with the challenges of 2020, experts say the successful transition of budget cycle from January to December and the quality policy frameworks put in place by federal government will change 2021 perspective towards the attainment of sufficiency and stability of the economy. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
At the start of the year 2020, growth in the Nigerian economy was projected to rise by as much as 3.6%. But alas, it was not to be. Coronavirus came along with uncertainties that spared no one and eventually threw the global economy into a deep recession. Leah Katimbabatunde in this report takes a look at how the Nigerian economy fared in this year 2020 that everybody wants to be done with.
It was a year that started with high hopes that the economy will move only one way, positive growth, with all projections seeing Nigeria's GDP rise by an average of 3% by the end of 2020. Then the pandemic, which started in Wuhan, China, soon spread like wildfire, and all projections went south, including prices of crude oil, Nigeria's major source of revenue. The 2020 budget had to be reviewed twice to reflect the prevailing fundamentals, with lockdown slowing trade and adversely affecting all aspects of the economy.
For MSMEs, by reducing their taxes and also giving a lot of tax incentives to industry, is all designed to help industry to grow. The monetary authorities have provided several packets of funding that are low cost and designed to be easy to access to help companies get working capital, renew their inventory, as well as also expand their production lines.
In the second quarter of 2020, Nigeria's GDP fell by 6.1%. This, however, got trimmed to 3.4% by the end of the third quarter, a remarkable comeback, experts note.
We all know the Nigeria background. Where are we as a country? Hopefully heading out of recession.
In other indicators, inflation rose to 14.89% year-on-year in November. Crude oil prices as of December 24 stood at $50.99 a barrel. Exchange rate 379 naira to the dollar. Excess crude account $72.411 million with a negative balance of trade. Notably, the government injected funds massively to reflate the economy, build infrastructure, provide palliatives for the vulnerable, and instituted survival funds for MSMEs affected by the pandemic. All these are part of the Economic Sustainability Plan, ESP. So far, about 500,000 have benefited. The payroll support scheme has paid about 350,000 beneficiaries. Almost 166,000 of 300,000 artisans have benefited from the Artisan and Transport Scheme, and the Corporate Affairs Commission is ramping up numbers to register 250,000 new businesses free of of charge. By the end of December, an approximated 400,000 payroll support beneficiaries will have received salaries for October to December, while structures have been put in place to commence the general grants and the guaranteed offtake scheme early next year. Was it all gloom for Nigeria in 2020? How did other sectors like the Nigerian stock market fare? The second part of this review has answers to these questions and more. Leokutung Babatunde, NTA News.
Up ahead, power sector and rail transportation in focus. Plus, Cross River residents get excited over chickens. Find out how when we come back.
House. We may look alike, but we are very different individuals. My adorable twins, they look so alike, but they don't like wearing the same things. And my little man, I had to find out the hard way because I've been trying to teach him my way. He loves to learn his own way because doing things his way is more fulfilling. Everybody believes their way is best. That's why Golden Penny Pasta is our favorite meal because due to its non-stickiness, it allows me to satisfy everybody just the way they want it.
Golden Penny Pasta, made with durum wheat, is tasty, nutritious, a source of protein and fiber, and non-sticky, so you can cook, serve, and eat your pasta just the way you like it. Go on and enjoy your Golden Penny Pasta the way you want it. With Golden Penny Pasta, your way is best.
Make this Christmas special with family, friends, and Terra. Merry Christmas and season's greetings. This Christmas, share joy, happiness, and stay safe with Corson. Merry Christmas and season's greetings.
The holidays are upon us again. The petroleum tanker drivers of New Bank, in collaboration with the Federal Road Safety Corps, joyfully congratulates all Christian faithfuls this Christmas period. It is a season for us to share love with friends and family. As you travel, please remember that the coronavirus is still out there. Wear your face mask in public places. Wash your hands regularly with soap and water for at least 60 seconds. Do not touch your eyes, nose, and mouth, and maintain a physical distance of at least 2 meters. The safety of all travelers is our priority. Do not drink and drive. Use your seat belts while driving. Do not drive on worn-out tires. Obey all traffic rules and regulations, and make sure that your vehicle is in roadworthy condition. Consideration for other road users is everyone's responsibility. Remember, your life is precious to your loved ones and the nation. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. This message is from the petroleum tanker drivers of New Bank. Comrade Salmon Akoni Oladiti, Chairman, New Bank PTD, announcing.
As I dey waka inside this journey called life.
No one sees what this journey took from him.
But I'll keep on keeping on. Cause to them say nothing could take on me.
How far he pushed his mind and his body.
Myself,
how many times he broke down and needed support. Success lies on the other end of pain. See as everybody they hail am now, cheering every verse and chorus. As Naija mama where I be, my son no fit carry last. So when pain comes knocking, we look back at it without fear and say, not today.
For aches, pains, and fever, trust Emzor paracetamol.
It's gonna be perfect. It's gonna be worth it. It's gonna be
It's the natural ingredients and rich flavor of Knorr that brings people together.
We congratulate you for progress on your journey. Now, Nigeria's #1 choice of mothers have Molfix Air Dry. Thanks to its ultra absorbency and breathability, Molfix has the dryness all the mothers dream of, so the babies will not experience any rash. Babies are always comfortable. Mothers are too, because they don't need to worry about ventilation. Thanks to Molfix Air Dry, now babies and mothers enjoy the ultimate peace. Come and join the mothers who experience Molfix Air Dry.
There are no small beginnings, only
stepping stones to bigger things. That's our philosophy at Premium Pension. And so no matter the size of your money, our team of expert fund managers invested wisely and actively to make sure your money is always working as hard as you do. After all, the things we're building today can help shape your future in the long run. And with the right partner by your side, the one thing you're sure to do is soar. Premium Pension. Active today, premium tomorrow.
Imagine the joy that fills your heart when you have just given birth. Whatever your size, we got you. With our Buy Right chat, you can get the best mattress that goes with your body weight. Don't just buy a mattress, buy a Vitafoam mattress.
The name of the baby is Stella.
Vitafoam, the fine art of living.
Tottenham Hotspur ended 2020 in a slump, but will their fortunes change when they take on Leeds United in their first game of 2021 on Saturday? It's Tottenham versus Leeds United on the Premier League Live, showing on the NTA network from 1 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Axis Bank, Babai Jebu, Lipton, and Close Up in association with Goal.com.
Great to have you back on News Extra. I'm sure if you ask Nigerians to name 3 things they would like to enjoy on a regular basis, power supply will feature prominently. I'm also sure government is not unaware of this. That is why the quest for adequate and reliable power supply has continued to receive priority attention, with sector players sustaining momentum for optimal results. Joshua Jito takes a look at some of the milestones and challenges of the power sector in the year 2020.
Strategic to economic growth of any nation is availability of electricity supply, and federal government says it remains topmost on its priority list, with more funding injected into the sector in 2020. However, the sector had its share of the ripple effect of COVID-19 pandemic, which slowed down work on many power projects. Notwithstanding, power sector witnessed remarkable progress in the year 2020 as Nigeria recorded twice in the year peak generation of more than 5,000 megawatts of electricity, which was successfully transmitted through the national grid.
What we have to do first is to make sure that we have a robot grid that can transmit power anytime and any place.
Similarly, number of power substations were inaugurated, like the Gagarawa substation in Jigawa State, which was abandoned for more than 20 years, even as more contractors were mobilized back to site to complete abandoned power projects. The Mambila hydroelectric power project, which remained on the drawing board for more than 40 years, is gradually becoming a reality, with a flag of sensitization to host communities and youth empowerment program that will train 20,000 youths expected to be engaged during the construction of the hydro dam.
We wish to provide action and more action as far as this project is concerned.
While efforts are being made to construct more hydro and gas power plants, attention is also given to solar-powered projects, with many inaugurated across the country, while additional 20 million Nigerians are expected to benefit from the solar-powered Niger project, which Rural Electrification Agency flagged off in the year under review.
As we progress, by the year 2021, up to the end of our tenure, we intend to achieve a lot, not less than 11,000 megawatts.
In order to make the sector attractive to investors and in line with the multi-year tariff order, service-based reflective tariff was introduced to boost power supply and ensure customers pay only for what they consume. This was followed by the National Mass Metering Program, thereby bringing to an end an era of estimated billing and revenue losses in the sector. There was also leadership change at the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, as the managing director of the company, Usman Gur Mohammed, was relieved of his appointment, and Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz stepped in as the acting managing director. Projecting into the new year, sector players say the gains recorded in the year 2020 should be consolidated for Nigeria to overcome the challenge of inadequate power supply. In Abuja, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Thank you, Joshua. If you agree, constant power supply ranks high in people's yearnings. What of transportation? This is a sector with a glaring impact. You know, we have air, water, and land transportation, and on the land, there is the rail subsector. Rail development has been described as a moving force. True or false? Let's find out from Oina Kalu Oka as she chronicles the rail journey, so to say, this 2020.
As two generations apart with several differences, but one thing in common: lovers of train ride. The transformation drive in the sector has made great impact on them. Washidu Mukarim and 8-year-old Amira Jutubo are regular passengers at the Abuja-Kaduna train stations.
I take Abuja-Kaduna train so far not less than 60-70 times.
And I can see mountains, I can see trees.
The story of these two lovers of train rides captures the impact of the transformation drive in the sector and achievements in the year 2020.
The administration, they are doing very well concerning the improving of the train all over the nation.
Take the case of Itakpe Ajokuta Warri rail line spanning 3 states of Kogi, Edo and Delta. Inaugurated this year 2020 after 3 decades of delay.
It is glorious. It is victory for Nigeria.
Another success story is the Lagos-Ibadan standard gauge rail line, which despite the lockdown of COVID-19 was completed and now test running to be inaugurated soon.
Very pleasant. I'm so impressed.
The Abuja-Kaduna train service continued to gain acceptance. 2 more locomotives and 10 coaches were added to the rail line.
A few years after independence, we lost it on the railways. So it took a lot of courage and sense of responsibility for the government to really sit down and work out a strategy to put back the railways.
In 2020, it was sharing news at the Federal Executive Council meeting for the rail development. Several approvals were granted for the construction, rehabilitation, and reconstruction of the Port Accord Maiduguri Eastern Narrow Gauge Railway, construction of a rail line linking Kano to Maradi in Niger Republic, and construction of Ibadan Kano rail line, as well as the Abuja Itakpe Lokoja rail line.
Track Park will cost $389.31 million at no cost to the federal government. I want to repeat that.
The new lines we are opening now are tailored to form a network that will really support economy of the country.
We thank the Minister for Transport for looking at it with enthusiasm and not engaging in policy somersault.
So we cannot overemphasize the impact of an effective and working rail system we have on Nigerian economy. It's not because Buhari want to ride the train, that's why it's constructed them, but it's constructed for the benefit of all Nigerians.
It was not just sharing news, as the railway sector was not exempted from COVID-19. For about 5 months, train stations were shut down across the country. Construction works were delayed and number of workforce reduced. To ensure safety, the number of passengers were reduced for physical distancing. The Abuja-Kaduna train service witnessed breakdown, and the issue of ticket racketeering keeps reoccurring as federal government plans to roll out e-ticketing, which is undergoing test running. For 2021, the plan is massive as the Lagos-Ibadan rail line will be inaugurated. Construction work for the Port Harcourt Maiduguri Eastern rail line is expected to kick off, same with Ibadan Kano and and that of Abuja, Itakpe, Lokoja rail lines. By the end of 2021, federal government hopes to link so many states by rail. Oyinaya Kalo Oka, NTA News.
Sure, we can't wait for 2021. Now into the world of Nigerian economy. The Nigerian Stock Exchange has outperformed all exchanges in the world with a record-breaking equities index rising above 45% in 2020 and an increased market capitalization to the 15 trillion mark. The bullish performance in trading activities in recent times aided an outstanding performance on Tuesday, where the all-share index on the Nigerian bourse appreciated by 4.92%, thereby placing it far above 93 equity indexes. Benny Adams has the report.
The Nigerian bourse in 2019 witnessed slow but steady bullish run that was caused by various factors, including a sluggish macroeconomic landscape, fiscal and monetary policy direction, as well as an underwhelming trend in foreign portfolio investments and concerns around the stability of the naira. To drive growth in the equity market in 2020, the exchange rolled out various initiatives to include a new market structure to enhance liquidity and ensure overall market stability alongside efficiency.
When you look at the foreign participation, foreign investors data, you discover that domestic participation has increased with almost about 60% of the total market, which has also changed the dynamics. So in March, if we look back in March, during the announcement of the COVID-19 in Nigeria, the restrictions, you will discover that foreign investors were pulling out in droves. But what we currently, with the dominance of retail as well as institutional domestic investors, the dynamics has changed, and most investors are holding on to their position ahead of declaration of dividend in the first quarter of 2021. And that's why, despite the news of the second wave of COVID-19 pandemic, we haven't seen that major shock in the market.
Experts say the all-share index appreciation of 4.92% on Tuesday is the highest daily gain recorded by the exchange in more than 5 years, and the 12th in a row, making it the longest winning streak the Nigerian bourse has recorded since July 2017. Recording a year-to-date growth of 7.7% with a record market capitalization to the 15 trillion naira mark.
We can say again that 2020 is arguably the best year we have ever experienced in the Nigerian capital market, because this year we had to trigger the circuit breaker. That is, the circuit breaker came in at a time the capital market was going out of the roof. The rate of appreciation were far beyond the 5% threshold that it was meant to be. But on that particular day in November, we saw that the market capitalization, the all-share index appreciated as high as 6.2%, and that was massive. So
Ayodeji Ebo shares his thoughts on the outlook for 2021.
2021 would be, for the equities market, will be a year of two halves. Given the continued low interest rate environment, we feel that we would see that the market also rally in the first half of the year. And as we were expecting that rates would also improve before the tail end of the year in 2021. And when you look at the correlation between the fixed income market and the stock market, which is negative, so we would begin to see reduction of participation in the stock market compared to what you have in the fixed income market, which would affect the return in the equities market.
The NSE has recorded listings in the market worth over 1.42 trillion naira from March 24th to September 24th, 2020, since its policy on providing accessible platforms for listings and trading activities began. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
Thank you so much, Benny, for that. And to talk more on the NSE as the best performing global market 2020, we have Ni Akinsiju. He is in our Lagos studios. He's also an economic analyst. Good to have you on News Extra tonight.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure always.
Okay, the NSE started out as one of the best performing equities market in the world at the beginning of the year, but quickly sank into the bearish territory, reaching an historic low at the peak of lockdowns. What gave it the present fate?
I think it's a combination of policies, what is now popularly known as the CBN heterogeneous policies deployment. It's not just an immediate thing, but the immediate explanation for that would be the falling or the hugely or vastly reduced yield in the fixed income markets, as noted by one of the analysts you spoke with earlier. We have seen yield reduced as much from a high of 11%, to 0.4% on the average, on the three Nigerian treasury bills, and on the FG bond to as low as 6%. So, of course, this does not provide attraction, to the average investor who now look at the equity markets as a ready option, both in terms of capital appreciation and, of course, in terms of the dividends yield. Most results that are coming from listed companies over the last few weeks, their 9 months results. Of course, we should also note that most Nigerian companies listed on the stock exchange have December year end. So their 9 months results are in, and they are quite impressive, and they hold prospects of impressive dividends payout, which translate to impressive dividends yield. And when you compare the dividends yield that are likely to be paid by those companies, they would most likely be higher than the yield from the fixed income instrument, as it were. So the preference would be that investors are now started moving into the equity markets in preference over the fixed income markets. But the essential thing really is that we have companies that are listed in the stock market that have very strong fundamentals, and their results are looking profitable at the end of the year. So that's another major attraction. But most importantly, we should give it to the CBN for the kind of policies they have introduced into the financial sector in such a way that a new ecosystem had actually emerged in that industry, in the financial industry, in a way that liquidity is compelled, huge liquidity is compelled in that marketplace, so that even banks and institutional investors, the pension administrators and insurance companies and all that, don't have any choice, than to move into the equity market. And beyond that, it is also creating a multiplier effect because of this huge liquidity in the system. Companies, listed companies are also approaching the market, the capital market, to raise their own commercial papers, and at reduced rates too. It's another level is that because of the huge liquidity in the market, in the financial market too, interest rates, lending rates is also falling, so for household loan, for commercial loans and all that, for the first time we are seeing lending rate falling below 18%, much more than what it used to be, 30% and 5% in the recent past. Again, the reduction the minimum cap on savings accounts that is stated at about 1.25% now, a total with the policy of no more than 10% of MPR, had also reduced the tendency to save. So all this put together is a creation of the CBN, an engineered, scenario of the CBN. And now we have so much money in the system, either to lend or to move into the capital market, into the equity market, and of course drive production.
Oh, well, Mr. Ni, you've informed us of a lot about the NCA and its performance in 2020. So what is the outlook for 2021?
Well, going forward, what is sure is that there is a bit of discomfort, and we have to observe that. What we have now in the fixed income market is a concern, for the typical investor, because what you have is what is known as negative real returns on investments. One, inflation rate is high, and the yield on fixed income is low. It's not supposed to be in a contrarian position with each other. So we expect going into this era, especially now that the government is likely to also look out to raise a fund to fund the fiscal 2021 budget, the deficit in the fiscal 2021 budget. There's a likelihood of increase in the rate of yield, in the yield of fixed income, and then they will now start moving towards a balance, between equity market returns and, of course, the fixed income instruments too. But what is clear is that even at a time of challenges, the companies listed on the Nigerian stock exchange had shown resilience and capacity. And of course, this is also a reflection of the macro economy. Though there may be this little border that some analysts will say that the macro environment is not too impressive, but if you look at the result of banks and even manufacturing companies listed on the stock exchange, we are likely to see, and I'm saying despite the challenges of the COVID-19, we are likely to see very impressive results in terms of profit to shareholders. So there will still be a lot of attraction in the equity markets. And for the federal government, the reduced rate, the reduced yield in the fixed income markets also provide opportunity to borrow money, to borrow money from the market at very, very cheap rates.
Okay, thank you so much for your input and contributions on a News Extra tonight. Ni, I can see you there. Moving on, developed and emerging economies in 2020 had the most difficult financial periods due to lockdown of economic activities caused by COVID-19. While most countries resorted to external borrowing to cushion the impact, and others struggled to weather the storm, Nigeria's economy, although not immune to the virus and its economic challenges, was able to drive growth through key non-oil sectors. Aboladi Salami reports.
Nigeria's economy was returning to its growth trajectory on the workable policies of the government and the involvement of private sector economic growth initiative. The country's GDP figures as released by the National Bureau of Statistics in first quarter of 2020 grew by 1.87% in real terms as against the 2.10% recorded in first quarter of 2019. While most economies contracted and global oil price plunged due to the impact of the global health crisis that slowed down economic activities, thereby resulting in recession, some key sectors helped to revive the economy.
A total of 18 sectors recorded positive growth in the third quarter relative to 13 sectors during the second quarter of 2020, which reflects significant improvement in economic activity.
As a government that had authorized diversification from a mono economy, The proactive steps yielded the needed support as the non-oil sector grew by 2.06% in first quarter of 2020, with the fiscal and monetary policy initiative to drive both domestic and foreign investments. The country's foreign investment outflow in second quarter of 2020 was punctured by the global pandemic, while local investors took advantage of the ease of doing business initiative to grow their business.
The PMI, the manufacturing PMI, some key constituent of it like production level is still on the right path. It's still on the growth path. The production level, the new order level, and the supply delivery time, everything went above 50%.
As the engine room for most economies, the macro, small and medium enterprises received the support of the government through its survival fund of 60 billion naira and a guaranteed offtake scheme of 15 billion naira to help resuscitate business and promote an all-inclusive economic growth.
So far, 149.2 billion out of the 150 has been disbursed to 316,869 beneficiaries. Some small businesses got as little as 2.5 million naira for them to recover their business back again.
The determination of the government to ensure a sustainable economic growth, stakeholders say, will aid a better financial outlook for the year 2021. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
Deep sea port, no doubt, contributes maximally to economic development of any society, especially as it eases the transportation of goods via heavy vessels, thereby enhancing investment. Based on this, stakeholders say the recently approved Akwa Ibom Deep Sea Port by the federal government is worthy of commendation, as they are optimistic that the project on completion will boost the socio-economic development of the country at large. Calvin Samuel takes the story from here.
Received approval for the construction of Ibom Deep Sea Port from the federal government, the governor of Akwa Ibom State assured the people of his plans to commence construction of the project without delay. These stakeholders say it's in the right direction, as according to them, the seaport on completion will enhance economic activities and create numerous job opportunities for the teeming youth.
You can imagine how many persons will come into our state because of that deep sea port. And of course, the deep sea port is bringing a new climate of material wealth to the whole state.
It's a good and welcome development because it shall lead to Akwa Ibom's enhancement in wealth.
There's going to be work, massive employment for youths and all of that. We don't really need to go out there again.
Commissioner for Economic Development and his counterpart as the Ministry of Information gives more insight on the project and what the people should expect.
Increase the port capacity for Nigeria. It's going to create employment opportunities, and it's also going to generate revenue for the federal government. It's going to serve as a major logistic hub.
Project that means a lot to the economic life of our country and even the sub-region because of the strategic location of the deep sea port.
The people are anxiously waiting for the next steps towards the actualization of the project, which many believe will turn things around for the citizens. In Uyo, Kevin Samuel, NTA News.
In another development, farmers, agro-processors and investors were at a state of confusion when the federal government announced the reopening of 4 of the country's land borders. However, there was also a sigh of relief with the presidential directive to the Central Bank of Nigeria that there will be no forex to import what can be produced locally. Musa Baba Aliu is here with more details.
Some Nigerians are campaigning and clamoring for the reopening of land borders. One would think by now, markets will be flooded with foreign foods and products. And that was the fear of farmers and agro-allied processors who invested in the agricultural sector of the economy. But the presidential directive to the Central Bank of Nigeria not to release forex for food importation was an encouragement for some Nigerians.
With this development, we are sure that we will achieve a lot and our farmers will be encouraged to produce more.
The federal government's decision is based on the significant increase in the nation's food production and supply, thereby cutting down importation of what can be produced locally.
That we have successfully reduced the nation's food import bill by more than 80%, to be precise, about 82%.
Nigerians are now producing quality and stone-free rice, maize, sorghum, millet, sesame, and vegetables, courtesy of the federal government's intervention.
To date, it's the rice we grow locally that we eat. Nobody can import rice and bring it to Nigeria and make profit. We are already there. We have attained that self-sufficiency.
We in Nigeria, we have our own rice, and that's our own rice, what we are eating now. We are happy to that, and our rice is very nice.
And for the first time in many years, there are huge investments in the area of processing, as factories were and are still being established across the country, from milling to farm inputs and packaging industries.
We process it, we turn it, and we finish it. After we finish it, either to crust or to finish leather, we either sell it locally or we export it.
The current rating by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations shows Nigeria as the world's largest producer of cassava, cowpea, yam and cocoyam, as well as shea nuts and kola nuts. Nigeria is also the second world's largest producer of sorghum, sweet potatoes, ginger and okra. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Now, chicken is a delicacy at this time of the year, and its demand can lead to a scramble for the product by consumers. In Calabar, residents are in for a swell time this season and are already excited over the subsidized price of chicken from the Cross River State-owned chicken processing factory. Paul Abel completes the report.
During festive seasons, and especially Christmas and New Year, chickens are traditionally prepared for consumption at home and special events to celebrate the period. But with its high cost at the open market, ranging between 4,000 to 6,000 naira, its affordability becomes difficult for many homes. And this is the problem the Cross River Chicken Processing Factory is solving with sales of one chicken at 1,800 naira only. For these physically challenged men and others who are on ground to catch a glimpse of the entire production process, which is being supervised by the state governor, buying at a subsidized rate is a blessing.
Pray that His Excellency will do his best to sustain it and then see how this can generate more income for our dear state and also make it easy for Crossverians to, be able to have a chicken for their families.
I'm very happy and so excited. That is why I'm here.
See, this is wonderful. The people also appeal for continuity and express optimism that if the factory is maintained and sales sustained, it will not only make the commodity affordable to many homes, but it will also serve as good source of protein.
Indeed, the excitement by residents know no bounds. In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
Sure, I can imagine the excitement. Saka will soon come the way of more than 3,500 poor and vulnerable households from 15 out of the 44 local government areas of Kano State. This came to light during a 2-day training on enrollment process and community mobilization for enrollment under the Conditional Cash Transfer Program of the federal government. And Yahanasu Hassanbaro has the report.
Conditional cash transfer is one of the federal government's social investment program targeted to break intergenerational poverty through capital development in the country. The program has impacted positively on the livelihood of more than 100,000 poor and vulnerable across 15 local government areas of Kano State. This necessitated the federal government to train 120 cash transfer facilitators on better community mobilization and disclosure of households.
We are going to go to the next 50%, which will make it the 80%, then the last 20%.
We have to build their capacities, facing current realities, guarding them and warning them against sharp practices.
And to use that training that we've gotten to go to my community, make use of the documents, the materials I've required here, and go and transmit whatever it is.
A document that we will go and ask, and we will enroll them based on this document. We will follow them step by step.
With the slogan, Better Don't Come, the household uplifting program is expected to reach out to the remaining 29 local government areas of Kano State by the year 2021. In Kano, Yohannes Hassan Barrow, NTA News.
Absence of interest rate on loans increases output of businesses amongst youth in Lagos, as large number of farmers in Kano and Jigawa states set to bid farewell to poverty. Details after this commercial break. Stay with News Extra.
One that has class. And did I pass my neighbor? Don't be a joy killer. There is the right gadget for every moment. Redmi Note 9 Pro. Upgrade your life. Powered by Xiaomi.
Wednesday, 5:28 p.m. Getting ready to lay down some tunes, but something ain't right. There's some discomfort in my throat. No worries though, TomTom Fresh Lime is here to save the day. Discomfort gone, time to bring the heat. Thanks TomTom Fresh Lime for giving me soothing relief. TomTom Fresh Lime, cool with a zing.
Just how powerful is the healing power of Vaseline in protecting your skin this Harmattan season? Imagine this leaf is like your skin. We applied Vaseline jelly to one leaf, the other we left alone. The difference is visible. If it can keep a leaf vibrant, imagine what it could do for your skin during Harmattan. Nothing locks in moisture better to keep your skin restored, soft and smooth. Your trusted companion during this Harmattan season.
Introducing evaporated milk that contains all the nourishment of milk, including high calcium, 7B vitamins, vitamin D3, phosphorus, magnesium, and 50% less fat. It comes in 3-pack sizes, and the 60-gram pack is only 50 naira.
Hollandia Slim Evaporated Milk. All the nourishment of milk, 50% less fat.
See how much it now looks better. Golden pennies and movita. New look, the same great taste. Golden pennies and movita.
New look, same great taste with natural ingredients. Contains proteins that help maintain a balanced diet.
New look, same great taste.
Golden pennies and movita.
Golden pennies and movita. Your soul food.
Make this Christmas special with family, friends, and Terra. Merry Christmas and season's greetings.
This Christmas season, renew your spirit with Renew Starch. Merry Christmas and season's greetings.
As the countdown to the new year begins, we here at NTA cannot help but look back on a challenging year that has been filled with many lessons. The most important of all being a renewed gratitude for the continued support of our sponsors, our clients, government at all levels, corporate bodies, advertisers, religious bodies, civil society groups, political parties, businesses and manufacturers, and you, the viewers. As we cross the finish line together, this celebration of new beginnings would simply be incomplete without you there. And we look forward to sharing the coming year with you. Here's to an excellent year ahead.
Tottenham
Hotspur ended 2020 in a slump, but will their fortunes change when they take on Leeds United in their first game of 2021 on Saturday? It's Tottenham versus Leeds United on the Premier League Live, showing on the NTA network from 1 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Axis Bank, Babai Jebu, Lipton, and Close Up in association with Goal.com.
Welcome back. There is a wave of wealth creation among youths in Lagos due to the absence of interest rate on loans for actualizing their business prospects. The initiative is also helping to check restiveness among youths in the Lekki-Aja axis of Lagos. Michael Olalaya captured how the status of young adults changed as a result of the intervention.
Life has not been fair to Friday Obo. At 44, hawking soft drinks in traffic is all it depends on to meet family demands. But since capital determines the growth of any venture, he has no choice. Just 4 months ago, financial assistance came in an angelic form and business has started thriving in an unimaginable manner.
Then our car run up and down, pursue motor, but now I can now sit down and sell by myself. People come to me, I sell.
Just like Friday, Mohammed was on the verge of closing this kiosk when he could no longer cope. But the last minute miracle came in form of a loan.
I thank God the money no get interest. Now my business is up way, no going back, it's going to front.
Every business down this lane has been imparted. Even this 14-year-old singer is a beneficiary in the quest for stardom, and he came for appreciation. The philanthropic gesture of this Nigerian America is motivated by love for one's country, and so far, more than 200 youths have benefited in various skills, including mentorship training.
The more people you help, the more human capital you build. Let's come together and help these kids. Putting the money in the bank, I don't say they shouldn't put money in the bank. Invest in their intellectual property. We don't need interest from our children. The Almighty God has already given us interest.
Passion, they say, is incurable, and the benevolent act is what the donor has committed to do because of our love for Nigeria. In Lagos, Michael Ale, NTA News.
From Lagos, let's head to Benin. The less privileged do not often feature in calculations during festivities. But here is a heartwarming departure. 2 inmates at the IDP camp in Uhogwa, Edo State, are beneficiaries of scholarships thanks to the intervention of the chairman of Pace Setters Group of Schools and PDP chieftain Kenneth Imaswabong. Uduakogbong Achigbong reports that beyond the scholarship awards, the benefactor visited the camp to share with the displaced persons.
These are the inmates of the internally displaced persons camp in Uhogwa, Edo State. In spite of their own setbacks and problems, they are still grateful to God. They are also additionally thankful that they have found companionship in Mr. Imasobong and his family, who decided to celebrate this Yuletide with them. He came visiting with food items such as bags of rice, cartons of sausage rolls, drinks, as well as financial support.
If you think you have rice, bread, sugar and tea for yourself and your children, and these ones are not taken care of, one day they will rise against you. So we must, as a people, do what is needful.
If you eat all you have alone, you're not a happy man.
We are happy that Rice Man has come, and we want to use this medium to invite every other person like him. There are persons who have more than him. They all should come and give and help the needy, help the poor.
We appreciate him for all that he has provided for us. The things that he brought, we are in need of it. The Lord make a way for him.
Missy Masakbong tops up this charity by extending the benevolence to other Edo people in Benin. Udakobong Achibong, NTA News.
A lovely and encouraging gesture there. A large number of farmers in Kano and Jigawa states are set to bid farewell to poverty with the reactivation and completion of the hitherto abandoned Gari irrigation project. Abdullahi Musa, who visited the site, reports that about 12.2 billion naira is being expended on the project, and already part of the work has been completed and returned to farmers.
This is Gari Dam, one of the underutilized water sources in Kano State. Work for the provision of irrigation infrastructure for early year-round cultivation of 2,113 hectares of land started by the PTF during the military era but was abandoned in 1999. 2 decades later, the project was reviewed and re-awarded at the cost of 12.2 billion naira as part of the economic diversification policy aimed at removing 100 million people out of poverty in 10 years. Just a year after, Sector 1 of the project has been completed and allocated to farmers. To the enthused people of Kunchi, Makoda and Dambate in Kano State, as well as those in Kazaure and Rodi in Jigawa, it is a license to fortune.
With the completion of Sector 1 of Gari irrigation project and handing over of farmlands under the scheme, many community members here have now been fully engaged in all year-round cultivation of food and cash crops, like this plot of land belonging to Alhaji Magaji, he and his 13 children.
After 2 months, we will harvest and sell the onions. Then we plant rice.
Access roads have also been provided to ease transportation of farm produce from the farmlands.
The moment the construction is completed, production is started, a market will come and people will come to buy the products that was produced by the farmers.
Musa Haruna feels it is a time for farmers to enjoy the fruit of their labor.
That is why we are grateful to God and thankful to Mr. President.
And I thank God our President, General Buhari, and as he make so serious effort on this project.
More farmers are set to join with sectors 2 and 3 nearing completion. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
There is this song with the lyrics, Home Sweet Home, there is no place like home. These lyrics play out over and over, year in, year out, on Nigerians who have the opportunity despite prevailing challenges like COVID-19. This 2020, to go back home and savor community living and development at the grassroots. Hamza Musa Magarfi tells us more about this connection.
For the people here, home is not only defined by their cultural aspects and geographical entity.
One of the nicest words here to say is home. In fact, homecoming is like honeymoon, refreshing among community members. There may be no statistics on Nigerians making the homeward journey, but it's generally acclaimed to be part of their lives during the festive season. This year is coming with advisories by the federal government in order to mitigate impact of COVID-19 pandemic. However, those who made it cannot miss the hottest music and dance, which can only be found at home.
You must have to show your responsibility back home. If something happened to you over there, you must take your decision home. And if it is home, you must take the decision back. As far as I'm concerned, the development here, we must give an idea to to what is happening outside, we can introduce what is happening outside to them at home.
I have seen a lot of people that some up to 20, 30 years I've never seen.
Home, they say, is where you belong. People should connect with their home, she adds. Again, if culture is passed on from generation to generation, then mother and child are at the right place and at the right time.
So that they will not forget it. This is the signs of peace and stability in the society.
Yet, there is promotion of intercultural understanding, as Ardo or Chivopulani Isa Kaduna says enthusiastically. All of us are one in this community, regardless of where anyone comes from. Uniqueness of traditions, stakeholders say, should sustain among the people of Nigeria as pillar of progress and well-being of society. From Lafia, Hamza Musam Alfi, NTA News.
Home is always sweet. That reminds me so much of home. I really need to visit home. Now, following the expiration of the first phase of the 2020 end of year special patrol operations, the Corps Marshal Federal Road Safety Corps Boboe Oyemi has issued fresh orders to the Corps personnel on the urgent need to buckle up and shun compromise to realize the set goals. In the statement of the Corps Marshal expressed satisfaction with the performance of the personnel and conduct of the motoring public in the first phase of the operations. He charged the personnel to remain focused as he urged motorists to show cooperation and greater commitment to issues of road safety and maximum impact. As the second phase of the exercise commences in earnest following a successful Christmas celebration, Oyemi particularly urged the commanding officers to internalize the gains of the first phase of the operation and ensure that the entire workforce maintains high spirit with every bit of professionalism they have been imbibed with. Difficulties may persist at the National Identity Management Commission office as network subscribers disregard underlined measures. Details when we return.
Since 1971, Nigeria's foremost human capital development institution, the Industrial Training Fund, ITF, has been at the forefront of equipping Nigerians with skills for national growth. Today's ITF has repositioned and refocused its programs, forging new partnerships locally and internationally to effectively deliver on its mandate. With 37 area offices and 5 industrial skills training centers across the country, ITF is pushing to reduce unemployment by providing relevant technical and vocational skills for employability and entrepreneurship in diverse trades and crafts. Whether you're a public or private organization seeking to improve the skills of your personnel or an individual looking to acquire skills that will increase your chances of employment or even to help start your own business, today's ITF has a program for you. Speak to us today. Contact our area offices nationwide or visit our website www.itf.gov.ng. ITF, developing the nation's human resource.
My father taught me to never forget where I come from. Never forget who you are. Our people, men and women, bursting with creativity and zeal. Our language and the proverbs with which our people spice their words. Never forget.
Tottenham Hotspur ended 2020 in a slump, but will their fortunes change when they take on Leeds United in their first game of 2021 on Saturday? It's Tottenham versus Leeds United on the Premier League Live, showing on the NTA network from 1 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Axis Bank, Bye Jebu, Lipton, and Close Up in association with Goal.com.
Thank you so much for staying. Ignorance and blatant disregard of measures taken by the National Identity Management Commission may complicate difficulties being faced by those trooping to get their national identity number. Joseph Johnson reports that the booking system introduced to reduce crowding and forestall spreading of COVID-19 is facing challenges in Abuja.
Another working day and a huge crowd at the headquarters of the National Identity Management Commission as Nigerians seeking to be enrolled continue to troop here.
Social distancing is a challenge here, and despite the fact that more security officers were deployed to the commission to ensure strict compliance with COVID-19 safety protocols, well, apparently one thing we can agree on, that is yet to happen.
For me, there has been no observation of any COVID-19 guideline because people have been forget the fact that there's a lot of nose masks all around. Most people have not been putting it on.
Next time we have word, let us use our word. Not everybody cannot. Everyone's supposed to get this kind of a thing.
From the CCTV in the Director General's office, grey areas of non-adherence to social distancing are visible for the NIMSI boss to worry about. He explains that the booking system introduced by the Commission has been in place since the 4th of February 2020.
We will continuously educate people just what we are doing, and also continuously give those directives, like that anyone that is not wearing mask or not following the COVID rule or not on appointment should not be allowed into the Abuja and Lagos offices.
What may soothe the nerves of those seeking registration is the fact that telcos and about 173 published agents will also join in capturing data for the Commission. But before then, concerns over crowding and non-compliance with the booking system need to be addressed. Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
In its bid to tackle the rising wave of crime in the southwest, the Nigerian Police Force has expanded its scope of policing with the inauguration of Zone 17 with headquarters in Akure, the Ondo State capital. Doris Olumuko reports that the new zone was created out of Zone 11 and will serve Ondo and Ekiti states.
The police say the establishment of the police headquarters Zone 17 in Akure is part of efforts of the roadmap to serving states better and bringing policing services and supervision at a much higher level to the grassroots.
Zone 17 responsibilities in this case being to coordinate, supervise, and provide guidance to Ondo and Ekiti State commands, as well as performing all other police duties as occasion may demand.
The new zonal headquarters building was renovated and donated by the Ondo State government as part of determination to make the Sunshine State safe.
I must thank the Nigerian police for what they have done thus far. The answers and the after effects of what the hoodlums did.
The police force reaffirmed its commitment to ethical conduct and a quest to keep up the fight against crime and criminalities until they are reduced to the barest minimum. In Akure, Doris Olumoko, NTA News.
Time for us to take the last break. Please stay.
Here say them they rape about 35% of them girl pikin, and even them women safe. Some of them they even die in the process. Emotional trauma uncle, it they make some of them be like say they no did this one again, they don't go, but they still they live like ghosts. Some of them shame don't kuku make them go kill themselves. It no good though. This no be our culture. It no fit be the African way. Why we can't allow this kind of yet enjoy body with us so they loud well. If you know they fear law where man put, you know they fear Baba God there. You self, you when they cover mouth when you see mini one they happen. You know what here when the Oyibo talk say problem where they bring come out, they solve and sharply. Remember, person wey feel rape, if it's a key person, oh, if it be you, if it be your pikin, if it be person them where you love well. So make we learn they carry women then like diamond where we be. No grief for rape, oh.
Although social media as a channel of communication is inherently harmless, it becomes harmful and damaging when used without discretion and thoughtfulness. Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, reflect, and verify information before sharing it. Be a good social media user. Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source and use social media responsibly for a better Nigeria. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, in collaboration with the National Orientation Agency.
You're welcome. Time to join our sports desk for sports update.
Welcome to Sports Update. I am Tamara Ebiwe. With Nigeria competing in 11 sports where it has comparative advantage in the Olympics, Minister of Youth and Sports Development Sunday Dare has assured a more robust preparation will commence early next year with less than 6 months to the Games. First and second phases of the campaign for the Tokyo Games held in Plateau, Lagos, Abuja, Bayelsa and Rivers states. And the ministry says plans for the next phase are in top gear. In the Nigeria Professional Football League Week 1 concluding fixture, 2016 runners-up Rivers United began their season on a winning note against 2016 champions Rangers International in Port Harcourt in a match that was live on the NTA Wednesday evening. On Tuesday, Enyimba pipped Abia Warriors by a lone goal. The match was also beamed live on NTA from Aba. Away from the Nigeria Professional Football League, Governor of Ogun State, Dapo Abiodun, has restated readiness to develop youths in the state through sports. This was when he announced his partnership with the Nigeria Football Federation when he hosted the NFF leadership in his office on Tuesday in Abeokuta. Governor Abiodun said he is committed to the growth of sports as a tool for empowering the youths and making them self-reliant. Finally, the 5th edition of the Melafia Peace and Unity Cup in 2021, organizers say will be bigger following the conclusion of the 4th edition in Dedere, Obi, local government area of Nasarawa State, that saw FC Keana emerge victorious with 4-2 penalty shootout.
If more of these tournaments can be organized, I mean, we'll get the raw talents out from here.
That's the plan, that's the goal. Unity, peace, good football, love is what you have just seen now.
Greater Tomorrow finished 3rd, defeating Edgar FC by a lone goal. And that's it on Sports Updates. I am Tamara Ebiwe.
President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, has expressed sadness at the news of the death of Professor Femi Adekunle. In a statement, the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, described Professor Adekunle's death as a great loss to the academic community and to Nigeria. He says, as the first professor of criminology in Nigeria, he was a reputable scholar and an academic giant who imparted knowledge to his numerous students and served his country with his expertise in a discipline in which he was an authority. The Senate President condoled with the family and people of Osun State over his demise and prayed for the repose of his soul and for God to grant his loved ones the fortitude to bear the loss. Also, the Speaker, House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, says Nigeria has lost one of her finest scholars who toiled to give his best to the country's education sector. He says the renowned professor, who until his death was a member of the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, would be missed by many, noting that he has left a vacuum in his field of study. Nigerians, from the president to those in the academia in particular, were in a state of shock on Tuesday night over the death of Professor Femi Adekunle, a renowned professor of criminology and a member of the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption. In this tribute, Timothy Yusuf looks at the man of immense influence and contributor to national development.
When I say that redeeming the youth, we must first redeem the leaders.
That's coming
when
back
we
to
redeem
this.
the leaders,
Yes.
then the youth will be redeemed.
Classic Professor Femi Adekunle, an acknowledged academic, first professor of criminology in Nigeria and member of the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption. The news of his death on this 29th December 2020 sent shockwaves across the nation as he meant a lot to many people across all divides. Tributes that poured in barely few hours after his demise show his personality and influence. President Buhari described Professor Adekunle as valued friend and a towering intellectual giant with an impeccable knowledge of his chosen academic field, governance and administration. Other words of eulogies used by different people show how great a loss Professor Adekunle's death is to Nigeria.
Until his passage, he has been very useful to successive governments in this country, and sitting on the anti-corruption committee of Mr. President, he has brought to bear his wealth of knowledge.
He was a man of principle. He lived by a code of ethics. He believed that Nigeria would be a better place without corruption in it. He was one personality that quite knowledgeable in his chosen field, and I dare say that Nigeria had never made maximum use of his intellectual prowess.
With the remains of the late Professor Femi Adekunle set to be finally laid to rest this Thursday, many, including the NTA, where he has over the years served as a resource person and analyst, will greatly miss the man everyone likes and respects. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
And the death has occurred of architect Philip Zegeta Yote. Architect Zegeta died on Sunday, the 20th of this month, at the age of 71. A statement by the family indicates that the remains of the late architect Philip would be laid to rest in his hometown, Vandekia, in Benue State, on January 9th, 2021, while the funeral rites will be announced at a later date. A former director of works at the Federal Capital Development Authority, late Philip contributed immensely to the development of the Federal Capital Territory. He is survived by his wife, Mrs. Mercy, 5 children, grandchildren, and many relations. And let's take weather now.
It's a pleasure having you join us on the weather forecast. The coast and the inland cities is under the influence of dust haze conditions with a localized visibility of 3 to 5 kilometers. While sunny and hazy atmosphere is anticipated over the north central and the northern region. But by afternoon, we do not expect any significant change as this weather conditions should persist throughout the forecast period. And that's all conclude the weather forecast for Thursday. Thank you for watching. I am Saidi Helen.
At the beginning of the program, we promoted a story that would have been of interest to those traveling to the east through Abia State. Well, sorry, we could not bring you the story, but it is about the traffic situation in that axis. We hear that the gridlock is serious. And with that, we come to the end of News Extra for the challenging year 2020. And we hope when we come back Wednesday next year, we shall have new and better songs to sing From all of us on the News Extra team, it is wishing you a prosperous New Year 2021. I am Fatima Umarububa. Do enjoy the rest of your night.